Hey everybody, I'm Keith and I want to thank you for joining us today. This is our first video here at HangerBay 23, a site that's pretty much dedicated to all things toy photography. From going out location shooting, searching for new action figures and stuff like that to photograph, from weathering, from set building, props, stuff like that. Pretty much anything that has to do with the aspects of toy photography is what we're going to delve into while everybody's staying safer at home during our pandemic here in 2020. As you can tell by the room behind me here, I'm pretty much a Star Wars enthusiast, so starting off, the first couple things we're going to do is some Star Wars action figure photography. Basically, the bulk of my collection is Star Wars, but I've gone out and been able to pick up a couple different figures, and I've added some stuff to my toy photography repertoire, and I'll share those things with you here as we go through a couple different videos. I've got a couple different shots planned, and I'm really looking forward to sharing those with you. But for today, our first video, I'm going to do something that's my traditional setup here at the house. I'll go outside and show you how I like to set up my shots. A couple things that I use that makes it a lot easier for me. As you can tell, I'm a little bit older in the toy photography genre, so the getting down on the ground, climbing up and down, stuff like that, I don't do as much of anymore. So I like to do a couple different things that makes it a little bit easier for me to shoot, and it gives me a couple different perspectives to work with as well. So we'll go outside, I'll show you how I set everything up, and we'll get started with today's shoot. First base of our setup is these two sawhorses here. They're just two lightweight sawhorses you can pick up at Home Depot or Lowe's, and this gives me an elevated platform that I use for my base. So I've got a piece of plywood that I've mounted on top of the sawhorses. You can see I've just got a little spackling of potting soil that I've dumped on top of that. The plywood, just a typical 1/4-inch piece of plywood, a piece of spare that I've had in the garage forever, and then I just painted some earth tones on top of that. It's just some reds and browns and stuff that's spray canned on top of that. We'll take some potting soil, and that'll give us a decent base to work off of for our terrain. So for this setup, well, for pretty much all my setups, I'll alternate between either a wire to help stabilize the troopers, or my Stormtrooper commander, I still have the plastic base on his foot. When I'm using the softer soil and everything, if I'm just doing like a quick picture or something like that, I'll use the plastic base, just because I can get in there and I can get the base hidden and everything. It's just one less thing I have to clean up in post-production, because I can come over and get the picture and everything, and I can get right back out. If it's something that I know I have to have a little bit of time with, like I'm going to have to set the fuse on a firecracker or something like that, or if I'm going to have like a high wind day or something like one of those instances, then I'll use the wire here and get my trooper set just with a little piece of stabilizing wire, just to make sure that he's a little bit more rigid. So you can see we've got the wind blowing here. Our Stormtrooper commander's wavering a little bit, whereas our regular Stormtrooper, with this extra bit of stability wire, he's staying there and not really bouncing around. So we will get our other troopers placed, and we'll be ready to go. Off of this platform, it's about 4 foot off the ground right now, so that allows me to get my camera angle, and I can drop that below ground level to get better angles on my troopers, and it gives me just another depth of field that I can work with and work off of that I wouldn't have if I was actually coming down to ground level. So it gives me another perspective on my troopers, it gives me another perspective on the subjects, it gives me just another little area to work with, being able to come a little bit lower and give them just another sense of I guess height, the distance of that added depth that I can get, rather than if I was having to stay just an inch or two above the pictures, or an inch or two above my subjects, that I can actually come down below now and look up on them. First shot we're going to do is the ever popular crackling ball. Can't go wrong with that. Set it up, nice little sparks, little fire, everything. Pretty decent background material. So we'll see what we get out of it. So hopefully this is going to be a slower fuse, because we're going to try to get both of these lit and shot. So, still struggling, working on positioning of my smoke and doing windage and all that stuff. But I'll pop off a yellow one here and see what happens with these shots. And that's it for today's adventure. So thank you very much for stopping by today. I really appreciate the time that you're spending with us. I know there's a ton of great content out there, a ton of great creators. So for you stopping by and spending these couple of minutes with us, it means a lot to us. I've got a couple different videos in mind. I've got a couple different shots that I'm working on putting together. So I hope you stop back by and see what else we put out there here in the near future. So until the next time we can be together, please stay safe and I look forward to seeing you on the next one around.